So here's the belly breathing with feet elevated on bench. I'm laying flat on the floor. I have one hand on my stomach and one hand on my chest. When I'm breathing in, I'm going to exclusively breathe in through my nose. I'm going to try to fill up my stomach as much as I possibly can first, and then finishing with rising of the chest. So as I breathe in, the stomach's going to rise, and as I fill that up, I'm going to finish off with a little bit of chest. So it should go hand on the stomach rises first, hand on the chest rises last. Here's the arms only bird dog with a wide stance. So I'm setting up with a wide stance with my knees outside of my shoulders. I'm going to slowly glide my hand across the floor. And then when it's fully extended, I'm going to reach up like a trap raise. And as I'm doing this, I'm bracing my abs as much as I can. I'm trying to not allow any shifting of weight. I'm bracing as hard as possible, and I'm keeping myself as center as possible and keeping my spine neutral the whole time. Here's a different angle from the side, so you can see that there's no shifting of the low back, and I'm keeping my spine neutral the whole time. Here's the lat hang with full exhale. I'm hanging, I'm letting myself go completely dead. I'm going to inhale, and I'm forcefully exhaling as much as I can. When I exhale as much as possible, you should feel your abs contract hard, and you should feel a much deeper stretch in your pecs and lats when you do this. Again, when you exhale, you're trying to get everything out like you're trying to blow out a candle that's a yard away. Here's a half kneeling power rack pec stretch with lift off. So I'm setting up in a half kneeling position. I have a good hip flexor stretch going on. My abs are tight. I'm going to maintain my position with the torso, and I'm going to slowly lift off my hands off the rack, activating that upper back to pull my arms off the rack. Here's a dowel rod Y into W. So I have a dowel rod on the top of my hands between my pointer finger and my thumb. I'm driving my arms up as high as I can in a Y position, and then I'm slowly pulling that dowel rod down into my trap. Here's the Blackburn. Starting out in a Y, bringing my arms down into the handcuff position with my fingertips together. When I'm in my Y position, I'm driving my arms up as high as I possibly can. As I transition to the Y to the handcuffs, I'm internally rotating the shoulder and retracting the shoulder blades while I'm in that handcuff position. Here's a yoga push-up with protraction emphasis. So what that means is at the top of the push-up, so when I go down and then up, I'm going to emphasize pushing my chest away as much as I can before I go up into that downward dog position. What this does is it activates the serratus more so I can get more upward rotation of the shoulder blade. Here's banded ain't got no monies. I'm going to have my elbows to my side and my arms at 90 degrees, or my elbows at 90 degrees. I'm pulling the band apart, opening up my chest and pinching my shoulder blades together. And you'll see in this back position here, as I pull it apart, my shoulder blades are coming together. Here's a forearm wall slide with serratus activation. So how I'm doing that is I'm trying to protract my shoulder blades out as much as I possibly can as I slide up. And I'm trying to pull my scaps into upward rotation from underneath my lat as I rise up. And at the top, I'm going to finish off with a lift off where my arms are directly overhead. Here's the standing shot put toss. I'm in a standing position, squaring up to the wall. I'm going to rotate at the upper back as much as I can, and I'm pushing the ball into the wall as hard as possible. Here's a shot put toss. If you're a thrower or a baseball player, you're gonna push the ball and rotate as if you're throwing. Almost like if you're a pitcher, you're throwing off the mound. You're gonna load up your back leg and try to push that ball against the wall as hard as you possibly can. You start with your dominant side and then finish with your non-dominant side. Again, just trying to rotate and push the ball up against the wall as hard as you can with as much velocity as possible.